been for so long now, multiple generations, I get certain things. Our kith and kindred in general have been socially engineered for multiple generations now to think, act, and speak in a subservient manner unto someone else's economic agenda. Some use quote-unquote racism to mount particular things regarding that particular agenda. We refer to those types as the pigmentocracy generators and their maintainers, as well as their default benefactors. To that end, though, that era is coming to a close. It took from 1604 on the Roman calendar, give or take, to 1789 Roman calendar to transfer the keys of power from us Moors over to those who are basically our autopilot, while we took a nap for a couple of hundred Earth years, a few hundred Earth years, if you would. The time of that nap is coming to an end now. So basically, Joshua, the second chapter, some will say in reverse, where on our descent, our folks were Rahab, and those now operating by way of autopilot on our behalf were the Israelite spies. Well, now we're in the era where it's reversed. They're now on the descent and we're on the ascent. And consequently, there shall be those that are going to go through a whole series of things through the upheaval. Those that are on the ascending side and those on the descending side. Hard realities. Nonetheless, we have been getting things done over the Earth years. It took longer than I would have preferred. However, again, dealing with the circumstances as they are, our folks over the generations have become sullen. They have become dry bones in the valley. They have become hard-hearted, stiff-necked, insolent. And as a consequence of all these things in general, it made the work very, very difficult. However, in the era of information, it is getting easier to get the work done, getting harder for folks to conceal particular things, and also getting harder for those maintaining a particular agenda who even look like you and I to conceal and to delay and cause mischief, intended or otherwise. It's all irrelevant and not stopping anything. The inevitable is already upon us. The incoming golden age of the Moors is no longer a question of if. It's merely a matter of when. And the when is not too far from now. As with everything else in life, as we always say, when anything else is coming that's brand new, old skin has to be shed. The planet is going through a geopolitical and geoeconomic realignment. There are many worlds on this planet, and they are all being altered dramatically, rapidly. In the end, I put it like this. Now that we have necessary learning curve and a few things in place for us to be able to stand no matter what happens across this planetary home, the time has now come for me to issue forth the new orders. The mystic order of the veiled prophets of the enchanted realm, the blue house, the red house of masonry, the shrines from high noble, and the potentates and all of them, the daughters of the American Revolution as they call themselves, Eastern Stars as they refer to themselves, our daughters. The time has now come to eschew their old orders and delegation of authority, and we're in the era now where it will soon be my duty, obligation, and responsibility to issue forth their new orders and their new delegation of authority, which will be to transfer the keys of power in full back unto the original man, being us, Moors. And as a consequence of this, there are many tranches that have to be put into place and taken care of regarding all logistics that's going to be involved. There's many subtleties and intricacies that have to be addressed. Obviously, I wouldn't discuss all of that with all of you or in public as a rule. There are a wide variety of things that are going to have to be addressed now to make this as smooth a transition as possible. And we do know it's going to be rough and tumble for some. Nonetheless, in the end, the keys shall be transferred in full. And we shall govern properly. As it was in the beginning of the age of Pisces, so shall it be in the end of the age of Pisces. And it is time for us to take care of the wholesale shift of the psyche that has to manifest now, so that our folks come out of being reprobates and degenerates as in particular things, and get our folks in general to not be backwards in their thinking. There are those that see themselves as enlightened, and my position to them is, if you were as enlightened as you say you are, our condition would be far different. All we got to do is look at your track record. So we have a whole lot of folks that are going to come with attitude, and a whole lot of folks are going to come with ego. That shall be shut down. End of story. We have work to do that's greater than them, and the sum must be greater than the parts. It really is that simple. And for those who have an issue with it, they won't be in the position to do anything about what's coming. Only thing that matters going forward is that we stick to our grind. And our grind is humble but dignified and always firm, and our method of providing organic diplomacy and governance. And in the end, all I care about are the results that are effective for our babies going forward, that we have a free flow of life, access to natural resources and markets in a positive and constructive way. And it's going to be a wholesale shift in a lot of things, getting folks used to a situation where not everything in their life is going to be monetized. Taking away a lot of the stress that folks are familiar with nowadays. And folks are going to fight us tooth and nail on particular things. However, in the end, they'll come around, because you cannot fight the practical and sensible for so long before you realize that you're just being stupid. And to be stupid is not something that folks utterly enjoy doing. So I know that in time, all things are going to turn around and come into favor.